what would you say was your biggest struggle?
Overloading. I'm gonna say that,
Mm,
like overloading your entire day, your entire week, and your entire month, and overloading on goals.
mm.
That's a big one.
Welcome to another episode of Pretty Wise Girl Talks. Today I have a friend of mine that I've known for a couple of years now. Her name is Danielle Doan. Am I saying your last name right?
Yeah, it's Dawn, but it's okay. Duan is
Doan.
perfect.
Danielle Doan. To give you guys a little bit background, she's a passionate serial entrepreneur. She's a digital nomad and a mindset mentor. It is her passion to grow other people's businesses with the power of digital media, whether it is really through, photography or social media, marketing services. Her fascination with content creation is the reason why she is where she is today. And she's been able to travel the world, build a six-figure business while all of it being remote, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to give you a chance to say hi, Danielle, before I jump into the rest of the conversation.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to tell you guys all about my journey on this episode.
And we're excited to have you. So Danielle has actually built her life by design. She's ready to share everything that she's done with, especially with her new mentorship program as well, that she's partnered up with Zach William, right? Your partner?
Yes, yes.
Who's also a real estate investor and an entrepreneur as well. The goal of this interview series is really to just spotlight simple, ordinary people, just like, you and I, Danielle, and give women who are really working hard towards that extraordinary version of themselves, towards that life that they're building for themselves, a chance to, or a place to shine. I don't know how you feel about this, but most of the times when I'm listening to podcasts, I feel like a lot of people that I hear, or a lot of the people that are being interviewed or guests on the podcast episode, it's mostly either people who are already, who already have made it, who've already have achieved the success. But for me, it's like, I want to make sure that I have a little bit of people that are already working towards their dreams. They're not there yet, but they're on, they're on the path. And then people just like you who've already made it and who've all had already a bit of a success, and, they're trying to achieve more. So that's really the goal of these episodes, these interviews. In today's video, we're going to talk about things like balancing multiple businesses with Danielle at once, being newly engaged, congratulations again, mindset tips, bodybuilding, and more. So I'm going to start right away with the easy questions. We're going to work our way up to maybe more challenging ones, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Danielle, so they can hear it from you as well and not only me.
Thank you so much for having me on this episode. And you did such an amazing introduction about me. So that's amazing. I'm going to try to say, not to repeat so much about it, but just a little bit off about myself is that I am located in Canada. So I'm from Canada. I'm born in Canada and been here for a very long time, my entire life. So I own a digital media marketing company called Your Purpose Agency. I love to travel. As you just said earlier, that I ran my business while being remote. That's one of my biggest passion, and that was one of my goals that I was working towards just a couple years ago, right? I just recently got into bodybuilding and took a different route of a passion and a hobby. So it's super exciting. I started out my business as a content creator and social media manager, but everything kind of happened over COVID. During COVID, everything got shut down, and prior to that, I was in a lash business, beauty industry, and then I did yeah, exactly, right? So I just pivot my way when the world just closed down technically, and then I transitioned into this career that I have right now, which is a crazy new journey of myself. Yeah.
Of course. And guys, I'm definitely a witness of everything she's been talking about, because I've seen her grown from exactly like, that's when I met you, when you had your lash business and we had our first, initial chat on Zoom, we met. Isn't it crazy? We haven't ever met in person. We have to make that happen.
I know.
I
Exactly.
just
So
realized that. So hopefully once I'm back from the trip, we're gonna definitely meet in person as well. But I've been definitely witness to everything you've been talking about, and especially, watching you getting to the bodybuilding journey as well. And she looks fabulous while doing it, guys. So you guys best check out her page, and especially her business page, her own page, and everything, every other social media platform she has. This is just fabulous what she does. She knows what she's doing, and she's definitely have had success as well as a result to prove for knowing what she's doing. And how
Yeah.
would you say, Danielle, you really built your business, your team in Canada while being remote? How'd you make that happen?
Yeah, so I want to say, that was one of my hardest thing growing up as like being an entrepreneur, having that business mindset and everything, right? Like I was always a one man show, and it was really
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to kind of like look at a bigger picture of a new level, right? Because
Yeah.
in the future, like whatever business that you're working with, I always wanted to like grow a team and everything, and that's really hard
Of
for
course.
me when I was home because I love the work as well, right? So I always feel like, oh no, I can do it faster. I could do it this, like it's okay. But
Yeah.
what really took a toll was when I realized, okay, I want to travel the world and be remote. How
Mm-hmm.
am I going to run this business if I'm not here? So my first initial was that I hired a photographer that was in Canada, and he's actually one of my old friends from school, high school, who is
Oh,
also
I
a
love
creator.
it. I
So
love when you
started
get
out
to work with people that you know. It's even makes it
exactly.
even more fun.
Exactly. So like we reconnected. He took all the clients that I currently had, and then that's how it started. Like I was away, and I loved that because in my opinion, like when I was away, I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel bad giving them so much jobs, but I
Mm,
can't think like that, right? I had to grow my mindset to a different perspective that I was going to be a business person,
yeah.
and we're going to go into a little bit details about that, like talking about business, but that's how I created my team. I knew that
Yes.
I needed more assistance. So when I was
Yeah.
away, I'm like, I need someone to do my accounting and invoices is because my VPN, when you're in different countries and you're on different time zones, like book meetings and have all these appointments, right? But how is
Yeah.
that going to do that with the different time zone? Because we started out in Asia, so it's
Yeah.
a 12-hour difference. And then I realized I need to find an assistant. So that's how I
Yeah.
got my assistant, who's been with me for the last 2 years now. She's amazing. And then my team just grew. Like I had to remove, it's crazy because I had to remove myself from the country to
Mm-hmm.
really build a team. And then
Mm-hmm.
I saw the value in it when I was traveling. So when I came home, I decided to like hire more people at home.
Yeah.
So that's how I did it. And I'm not telling everybody to leave the country to take the, like take the leap of it, right?
Of
But I
course.
do, that just happened to work out for me.
It was
But
just your journey. It was that was your path, you know?
exactly, exactly. So that's how the team
Love it.
was starting to build. It was because of that.
And you know what? I love the fact that we're even talking about this because I was watching a video the other day and this guy was talking about when it comes to building a business, the biggest mistake a lot of entrepreneurs at times make is trying to handle everything on their own, and that's when
Yes.
you burn out, and that's when you cannot be a control freak while trying to build a business because I've tried to
Hmm.
do that and it doesn't work. It
Yeah,
doesn't work.
no,
You have to be able
exactly.
to delegate certain things to other people. And I'm so happy that you've done that for yourself because I'm pretty sure it has taken so much stress off of you for you to be able
Yes.
to strive in other parts of your business that you
Yeah.
need to. So I
Yeah.
love that. What would you say it's something that you're really proud of this year?
So this year, I something that I'm very proud of, which you mentioned earlier, that like I got into bodybuilding, right? And that
Yeah.
was something I started last December last year. It was a really long journey, but that's something that I'm definitely for sure very proud of because that is a whole new level of discipline that I incorporated in my life, right? It was so rewarding, right? And it was so inspiring to see so many people that reached out to me that was also watching my journey, right? And I love that. And it was something that I did for myself, which I'm
Yeah.
proud of that. Bodybuilding is actually very a selfish sport. And I was always told that, but I never understood it until I actually did it. And I
Mm-hmm.
really love doing it because I really put myself first in it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that I did was for me. And I love that. There's things that I wanted to say no to, for instance. And
Yeah.
then it made it easier because of the limitations that I had with the sport. So that kind of helped me understand myself a lot more, that there are things that I needed to accept, that there
Yeah.
are things that I wanted for myself over other things that I think I should just do, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I love that. To anybody who's listening, you should definitely check out her page and you'll see her transformation. I think when I saw your transformation, I was like, wow, like this girl just like she did it. And I was I
Thank you.
was definitely I want you to know that you're not the only person being proud of yourself. Like we all are. I'm sure I am, and I'm sure everybody else around you is because it's not easy, just like how you said. And to be able to stick around for long enough to be able to get on that stage and go through everything that you've gone through, it takes discipline, it
Yeah.
takes consistency, it takes persistency. So I'm really proud of you for that.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Of course, being
Yes.
newly engaged and handling all these businesses. Okay, we're gonna get to the juicy stuff a little bit. competing in the bodybuilding space. Like, how did you do all of that at once? Like, what's your secret?
Yeah. So honestly, so just to refer back earlier, what we talked about, like how I built a team, right?
Hmm.
And like what you just said earlier, how you said, you kind of have to let go of control.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest with you and everybody who's listening in, I have a hard time of letting go of control. I like to be in control of everything. And that's just like, it's just who I am. That's my personality. I like to be in control. I like to know everything, what I'm doing. I know exactly what my day looks like before anybody else can like try to figure it out or anything, right?
Yeah.
So because I let go of that in my own business,
Hmm.
I had more time. I had more
Hmm.
time in my schedule, right? From a business perspective, I'm kind of looking for the next level, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking for the next level in my business. Like, okay, if I'm not that person that's going to be the social media manager for the client anymore, I
Yeah.
have to look at myself from a different role that I'm taking on, which is like, a business person, a business mentor now.
Yeah.
So I have so much more time in my day to
Yeah.
complete things. Like that's why I got into bodybuilding. I knew it was always going to be very hard, but it is another full-time job. It really is for those who were watching the journey. It's a lot of things, right? Because you're prepping your food and all of these things, right? Like
For
you got to make
sure.
the time for the hours that you're putting into the gym. So I'm really good at scheduling my days to days, everything. I know I have things booked a year ahead for certain things. Like that's just
Wow.
how I am. And that's my way to control, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
So
That's awesome. I honestly, I that's something I'm definitely working on when it comes to scheduling things. It's like I schedule things, but at the end of it, I'm like, but nothing really happened exactly how was in my schedule.
yes, yeah, no, and you know
So
what?
hard
Like
to
I
follow it to the D,
yeah.
you know?
Oh, I follow the thing is, for me, I do follow it to the T. The people in my life, even like my close friends and family, they know if I do not schedule it in my calendar, it's not happening. So if we're scheduling a hangout and I didn't send you an invite, it's not gonna happen. That's basically what it is. No, like my friends got so used to it, right? Yeah, that's why I say it's really important to really schedule because especially with me, for those out there that's looking to like talk to me and everything, make sure I schedule with you if you want to have a one-on-one coffee dates and stuff. That's just how I am. That's my trick. But
It's
it might not
amazing.
work for some people, right?
I definitely agree with you. Like scheduling is such an important thing, and I guess that's really your secret because you have everything organized. Like you have everything in your plan. You have everything planned ahead
Color
of
coordinate.
time. Yeah, I feel like I need to maybe like plan it ahead more. I feel like I can stick with it if I plan it ahead. It's like sometimes I'm doing it the day before, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, maybe that's not really planned ahead as much as it should be. You know what I mean? But if you could actually give 2 to 3 tips that you would say you've learned in your journey of bodybuilding that you believe has actually helped you transform your health, what would those tips be? Like, what did you really learn that really helped you throughout this journey of, transforming your health and, getting in a better
Just
shape and
everything, right?
everything?
I would say like one of the biggest tips that because a lot of people do ask me about it too, right? Like after
Yeah.
the transformation, because
Yeah.
I always tell people like, you don't have to get into bodybuilding just to get a transformation. Like
Yeah.
a lot of
Of
people
course.
message me like, should I do it? And I'm like, but like you got to find out what's the purpose. Like I've always been like a thinker like that. Like what's the purpose behind it? Because depending on what your answer is,
Yeah.
it might not be worth it, right? In the end, because
Yeah.
you're just doing it for the wrong reason. So
I,
I
I,
always
I
tell
agree.
people that like if you're looking towards in trying to join this journey of bodybuilding, do it to enjoy the journey, like to get excited every day to actually like achieve a new level, right? Like one of the biggest tips is like enjoy the journey, which is so
Journey.
simple, but that's in everything, like your business, your life, the new things that you're trying out in your life. I think
Yeah.
that's the main part that people do miss out on is that they're struggling, they're going through that process, that's all they feel, but they're
Yeah.
not really thinking about like I'm being better the next day, I'm being
Yeah.
better each, right? So I say that's one of my biggest tips is that enjoy the process and the journey, like understand yourself and actually listen to your emotions too, because going through these process is like you're learning more about yourself in everything that
Yeah.
you're doing. right? So
Yeah.
I think that's my second tip for those who are looking into it and looking to transform their health and stuff, right? I think it's a beautiful thing. I think we all go through stages in our life. Me, I have stages where I travel the world and I eat anything I want, but then I have another stage of my life where I'm like, you know what, I want to be healthier, I want to do this, I want to do that. We're human.
Yeah.
Life happens, right? But the most important thing is that you have control in your life and what you do. So I always tell people that if you have a controlling thing, just learn
Absolutely.
how to do it, right?
Yeah, you can't be controlled by your thoughts and your emotions, right? You have to be the one in control of them for sure. What would you say it's something like it's the biggest thing you really struggled with, throughout your journey, and you could give a tip to all the listeners that are listening to this, watching this video or listening to this podcast,
Yeah.
and that are going maybe through the same thing as you. What would you say was your biggest struggle?
Overloading. I'm gonna say that,
Mm,
like overloading your entire day, your entire week, and your entire month, and overloading on goals.
mm,
That's a big one. So what I mean by that is that like our minds, we're always thinking like especially when you're trying to complete a goal of yours that in
mm,
your life,
mm,
whatever in the period of time that you have. I used to overload with myself. I want to do
mm,
this. I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to make this much. I want to have this much passive income. I want to save this much. But when you overload yourself in your schedule, it gets overwhelming, right?
mm.
So I always
Right.
tell like even the students that I have right now, which I just started mentorship, I always tell them take it baby steps because you have short-term goals and you also have long-term goals, right?
Yeah.
So when you really break it down in front of your eyes, when you're writing it out and stuff, it takes time to reach those goals. So you can't do it overnight all in one day. I told one of my students who wants to get better with her daily habits, right? Because
Yeah.
she has such like a different schedule throughout the day. But I
Yeah.
told her like one step at a time. What is it? What is your perfect day? Give me a 10 out of 10 day. And she told me, I'll give you an example. Like she wants to be by the beach with palm trees. And she's like, I want to wake up to smell of coffee. I want to have I want to journal and I also want to read 10 pages because it makes me happy. For instance,
Mm,
she did something like that, right? And I told her, okay, so tomorrow you can wake up and have that cup of coffee. You said it makes you feel good. Just take it one step at a time. You don't need to do all of that in one morning. And
yeah.
if you're going from 100 to you're going from 0 to
0
100
to
right away,
100.
you're gonna end up failing, right? So I always tell people like take your time to reach a goal because when you overload with so much things, you actually overwhelm yourself and then you end up not being productive doing it along the way. So
Mm.
you're 10 times longer to complete it.
I
Yeah.
actually, wow. You know what's so funny is like sometimes you have certain conversations with certain people and you're like, I feel like I needed to hear that. And at this point, I feel like I really needed to hear
Oh.
this. Like,
Yeah.
because it's true. Like, I think I overload myself with so many things at once. Like, right now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to do, this YouTube channel, and I'm also building my brand on travel content, and everything on Instagram. And I'm also promoting my YouTube on TikTok. It's like I'm three different platforms,
Yes.
and it takes time and effort because I got no team right now, right? So if you're trying to do everything yourself, I feel like I'm overloading with myself. I'm definitely gonna take that tip to the consideration.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna look at it a little bit I guess in a different way, because I do want to achieve a lot of different things in the next 6 months. So it's like maybe I should pick like three main things that is like the most important to me and stick with that.
Yes, and you're human. Everyone wants to accomplish so many things. I'm not perfect. I also do that. I
Yeah,
overload, like I said, I schedule, right? So if I can squeeze it in my schedule, I'm like, oh, I can make it happen. But
yeah,
I also have to learn, and I recently just did this. I schedule me time in my
yeah,
schedule now, is because I do need time to just sit there and just be with myself and my thoughts, right? So I think that's a really important thing as well, is that
of course.
when you overload, you are human, but you are also a Wonder Woman and you want to do everything at the same time, right? And I get it because that's the entrepreneurship in us, that's the business mindset in us, right? We
And
always
us,
try to think of new ideas, but there's
yeah.
nothing wrong, right? But I always tell people, just remind yourself, like, be patient with the goals because we have so much years ahead to achieve it basically, right? So yeah, that's a big
I
tip.
love that. It's a very, very good tip. Very good. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take, advantage of this tip. Danielle, since you and your partner are working together, on these businesses and everything, what are some of the challenges or conflicts you would say you guys have learned how to work through, and how? Because I feel like when it comes to couples working together, like even when me and my partner we were in business together in the finance industry, a lot of people always ask me like, how do you guys like do it? How can you like live together, work together, be together,
Oh
all these
yeah.
things. How would you like what are the challenges you would say you would you face and how did you work through them?
That's a great question, by the way, because I'm always learning from other people too, and like who are older and they're still
Yeah,
working together. There's
yeah.
always going to be challenges, right?
Mhm.
So my partner and I were actually very different entrepreneurs. So he's
Mm,
in real estate, he's an investor, and he does everything in the real estate industry. Whereas for me, I'm in the social media, the digital media industry, right?
yeah,
When we have a same client and we work together and everything, we learn how to value each other's opinion because I can't say anything that I don't know about real estate, basically.
yeah,
And he knows where his spot is in the digital media because he's not experienced in that. So we
yeah.
do very value each other's opinions and knowledge
Mm,
when it comes to that. The where the challenges and conflict happens is in for us is we always talk about business and we don't know how to shut it off. And we're always I'll be honest with you, like I realized, I think we were traveling in the beginning of the year this year, and I realized that even more that every time we
yeah,
talked, it was always about business and like what was going
yeah,
on with our work. And I'm like, you know what? We need more time to talk about other things that's not business because
yeah,
we are so a couple. We are
yeah,
also together. Right.
yeah,
And that's something that we realized that we need to work on.
yeah.
So we do Sundays. We have our Sundays where we actually
Together.
it's just talking about anything that like we want to do, like vacations, like we kind of wind down a little bit, watch
Hmm.
Netflix stuff.
Hmm.
So Sunday is kind of like our day where we actually say no business, no nothing. And that is hard. Like you said, you live with the person, you work with the person and everything, right? Like and then you always, and especially when you're both entrepreneurs, like you and your partner, you're
Hmm.
always thinking what's the next level, right? And you get so excited because you're brainstorming and you're sharing ideas with each other, right? But
Hmm.
you also forget there's another side of your relationship that doesn't involve business, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you try to be more personable with that side. So I think that's was our challenge, but we are always still working at it.
I couldn't agree more with you. There's nothing really I can say about this one is because it's like I'm still working through it, but I feel like we have a lot of things in common. The way you were talking about, always want to be in control and always talking about business. And that's the same thing, like when I'm talking
Yeah,
to my partner, sometimes it gets to a point where I'm like, can we just not talk about business anymore? I feel like my
yes,
brain is exploding.
it's
So it's like
exploding. Yeah.
yeah, so I feel like it's so important because yes, you're doing businesses together. Like right now, we're not doing the same business either. Right now, I'm kind of like on a help site with him. He's on a help site with me, but it's also two different businesses. But at the same time, it's like okay, well, yeah, we need to learn how to like shut off our mind when it comes to that because we're always talking about future, 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 and actually just like relax in the current moment,
Yeah.
but very good tip. I love that. I think I'm gonna actually include that in my calendar.
Yes.
Days days no business talk. I'm gonna call
No
it that.
business talk. Yeah, you have to. You have to schedule it because, like you said, your mind is always thinking of new ideas and stuff, right? And there's nothing wrong with that,
Nonstop.
but there's also a different side of your relationship that you need to nourish, right? So take care of and make sure that you guys are not just business partners. You're
Mhm.
also, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiancés, and like partners, wife, husband, all of it,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So listen out to anybody who has maybe a business with their partner or they want to build a business with their partner. Make sure you take this tip to consideration.
Yes.
Okay, when if someone's working, Danielle, on a business, from scratch right now, what would be your number one tip you would want to give them, or number one advice? What would you say?
So if you're starting a business from scratch,
Yeah.
I would my tip for that person would be understand why what is the purpose of opening and building that business.
Mm,
And the reason why I'm gonna say that, like understand why you want to do it.
mhm.
And only because there's so many people that want to open a business. They
Mm.
want to open a business. They're like, I love the free schedule, the flexible schedule, all of that, right?
Yeah,
And freedom. And I don't blame people for doing that, right? Like I it's a beautiful thing. And
of
I
course.
was once in their shoe and I totally understand it. But just experiencing from my journey is that there's a lot of people who want to be business owners, but there aren't those people, there's not enough people, business owners that have a business mindset, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
you kind of stuck in a bubble because you did it in the purpose of wanting freedom schedule and just for money, right?
yeah,
So that's what I
yeah,
always tell people, like, find the purpose of why you're building the business, because building a business is not easy. There's a lot
yeah,
of sacrifices that you have to make, right? You're taking a huge risk. So I
of
always tell
course.
people, like, if you're going to take this huge risk, understand why you're doing it, right? Because
Yeah.
that's going to make, and for a successful business to actually operate, it takes time. Like,
Hmm.
you're not going to have a successful business in 2 years. Like, I've been in my business, we're hitting 2 years in December. You know what other entrepreneurs say? They say once you hit 5 years, 10 years, you're at a whole new level. Your
Yeah,
mindset's different. It takes time to grow,
yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
like you just have to nourish like their purpose. And if you
Hmm.
do have a purpose and that's going to take you there that far, your business will last because of that.
Yeah,
Because you have a good reason why you're doing it. Not for money, not for flexible schedule, because there are many things out there that can give you that. But just
yeah,
make sure you build it from scratch, understand, is this something that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life?
yeah. I guess this is why they say your why needs to be strong, or like why you're doing this business, the
100%.
purpose behind it. Because I feel like if it's not, then at some point you're not going to see it as maybe like worthwhile for you to want to make those sacrifices and like really put in the work
100%.
and stay consistent. Everything you say, I agree with. I love everything we've been talking about today so far. What would be one thing you would never change in yourself, or you would never change about yourself?
That's hard because we're our biggest
On
critics.
critics, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know what? Like, something that I would never change about myself is, well, this one is this is an interesting one. I would say I would never change myself. It's a trait that I have.
Mhm.
And the trait is that I am a very big risk taker. Like, I don't, when I like something, I'll go with it. I
Yeah,
don't I don't need years to wait to do it. Uh,
yeah,
Actually, you know what? That's a lie, because I went to university. I did the whole schooling and everything. I did all of
yeah,
that, right? But when I
yeah,
found out that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, a business person, I had to learn how to think like one. So I was exploring. I played so many characters in my life. I was a lash artist, like you said, you knew. I was a
yeah,
lash artist. I was an assistant in a law firm. Like, I was serving and bartending not too long ago, like 3 years
yeah,
ago. Okay, so I,
yeah.
I I played so many characters in my life, but I was never afraid to take risks when I liked something. And
Mm,
I think that's something that I would never change in myself, because I wouldn't be where I'm at if I was scared of
of
failing.
course.
And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I do have fears that I fail all the time, right?
We all do, yeah.
Yeah, we all do, right? We're human. We're it's normal. But that's a very big trait of mine, that when I know I like something, I'm just gonna take the risk. Because the one question that I always tell myself, and I try to pass it along to a lot of people, is that when you really sit there and you think about what's the worst case that can happen if you do take this risk. And
Yeah,
for me, my worst case is that I live with my sister. I come home to my family. And yeah, it sucks, but that's the worst case. They take
yeah,
care of me and I have to start over from zero, right?
yeah, yeah.
So for me, that was one of my biggest things. That was like, I was like, that's the worst that can happen. So I always tell people, like, even for the people that are listening right now, what is the worst case that can happen if you took this big leap towards what you want to do?
Absolutely.
You
Fi
realize, yeah, sorry. You realize
No,
that
no,
there's
no, go on.
so much things to be grateful for, that your worst case is not that bad at all.
Mhm. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. I feel like when we do like, I think we just tend to overthink, right? When it comes to things like this, especially when it comes to our future, our life, we tend to overthink, and we keep thinking of all the negative outcomes. Like, what if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't happen? What if I fail? But it's like, but what if it does work? What if you
but
do become successful? What if it,
that.
it works out better than you thought? It's really just changing perspective. So I'm glad you put that out there as well. And definitely do not change that about yourself, girl. You've got yourself to where you are, and I'm sure you're gonna
Thank
go even
you. Thank you.
way farther from where you are right now.
Thank you.
My pleasure. What would you say it's next for, I mean, the fourth quarter of 2023? Because we're already like stepping
Yep.
into October soon.
Yes.
Gosh, it's September 21. Like who would have thought? It's September 21st. What is there to look forward for 2024 for you? What's left for the 2023 and what is there for you to look forward to?
So right now, I have my mentorship that me and my partner have decided to work together. The mentorship, and
Yeah,
it's a holistic mentorship. That was our goal for at the beginning of the year that we wanted to get into. So for the last quarter, we are
yeah,
doing that. We launched it. We got a couple students, which is amazing. I find a passion in sharing even this conversation. I have a
yeah,
passion sharing my journey. It's one of the greatest things ever that I feel like I'm meant to do this. And I think I had a conversation with you that I was always
yeah,
be this character, like, because I didn't, you know what it was? I didn't want to, I was scared to be responsible for people's outcome. But I can't think like that because your journey can actually help somebody. And you know what? At the end of the day, your student, it's up to them. Whatever
yeah,
happens that you give them, it's just like my mentor says the same thing to me. I have many mentors that I went through and my coaches, and they tell me, I can give you all the answers to everything that got me to where I'm at, but will you get the same results? I don't know because at the end of the day, it's up to you to do the work, to actually take action to get the results that you need,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm so excited to do this with my partner, and it's such a very rewarding feeling. Also, like what is there to look forward to is that I'm going into my second year of being a digital nomad again. So, like being snowbirds. So, we're going away in January, away for the winter, but it's going to be like 2 to 3 months, which
Yeah.
is still amazing. Like, and that gives me a lot of, I love to start the year off being somewhere else because my mind is always racing for new challenges and new ideas and stuff, right? So, I'm very pumped for that. And then also for next year, like our goal is to also build more of YPA, right? Like I want to
Mm,
build a bigger team. I think it's really important in that for the business side. And I'm excited for that. I would say for my personal life, my partner and I are still traveling. So we're still exploring. And I want to tell people who are listening that like traveling does wonders.
of course.
You truly find yourself in like I'm not gonna sit here and say that I know exactly like who I am and everything, but every time I travel, I always find out new things about myself, and I like that. And I think it's such a beautiful thing. We're always liking and loving new things in life, right? So, so we're doing more of that for next year.
Which is so exciting. And you know what? I'm so happy that you finally took that decision to not be, scared of the outcomes for your, your clients or anybody that you're working with, because at the end of the day, you can only do much, right? You can give them the tips, you can give them the tricks, you can guide them, you can coach them, but it's like I can give you a good diet. If you don't do the diet, if you don't do the exercise, are you gonna get to that body that you want? No, right? So I'm so happy that you came to that conclusion. You stepped into that because I can tell, like from our conversation, everything we've been speaking about, I can tell that you can definitely be an amazing coach to anybody who's going to be working with you, and whoever is working with you is definitely lucky to have you. And
Thank
I love this conversation, Danielle. It's just that whenever, like every time you're talking, it feels like as if I'm kind of on the same path as you, but you're just like a couple of steps ahead of me. You know what I mean? It's like you're talking about traveling and all these things, and that's my goal too. Like I want to travel the world. Like
you.
that's my decision for the next 1 year. I'm trying to make certain things happen. And I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to really be still in one place right now. Like I just want to go to different places. Like go 2 months to Bali, go to another month to Thailand, go another month to Italy and Spain, and just like really live like that for at least the next 1 year of my life because I'm young right now, right? I'm not gonna get this chance again to being young.
Yes,
So I
exactly.
love everything that you're talking about is definitely inspiring to me, and it makes me even sure more of my decisions. Just hearing you talking about it, your experiences, and your outcomes, it's for sure inspiring. Overall, what I was gonna say is I am going to, tag you in the description for anybody who wants to find you, of course. But other than your Instagram, how else, or what is the best way for people to reach out to you if they want to, maybe ask you more about your mentorship program? Maybe they want to ask you about your, social media agency that you have.
Yes.
Anything that they want to reach out for. What would be the best way?
Yes. So on my website,
Yeah.
yourpurposeagency.com, anybody can go on there and fill out a contact form. I'll go directly into my assistant's
Yeah.
inbox, and
Yeah.
she's on it 24/7. But you can also email me directly. So my email is Danielle at yourpurposeagency.com. So anybody that has any questions or anything, I'm always on my emails. I will get to you within the 24 hours in the day. But that's the easiest way to reach out to me for sure. Or Instagram, like you
Perfect.
said. Yeah.
Awesome. And I'm going to make sure I'll add these, in the description as well. So it makes it easier for them to definitely reach out. Last question, which is going to be just a quick, like a couple of quick would you rather type of questions, just for
Yes.
people to get to know you on the personal side a little bit, or your personality side a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your head. Okay. Would you rather live in the city or live in the countryside?
City. I would
City.
live
Oh, you're a city girl. Would you rather have an incredible strength or be incredibly fast?
incredible strength.
Would you rather fly or be invisible?
Ooh, fly.
Fly.
I would
Fly all
fly.
around the world, huh?
Yep, that's why.
Would you rather visit the past or visit the future?
Visit the future.
Would you rather have unlimited time or have unlimited money?
I wanted to have unlimited time.
I love that. Because with time comes money, right?
Yes, exactly.
Would you rather own a boat or own a plane?
Plane.
I knew it. Would you,
Easier,
this is
faster.
like, I'm gonna travel the world. I might
Yes.
as well have a plane. Would you rather explore space or explore the ocean?
Ooh, that's a really good one. I recently explored the ocean, so I would say the ocean.
Yeah. How was it?
It
Actually,
was
how was it?
I
I'm
so
scared to death to do
I
that, by
have
the
a
way.
huge fear of the ocean, and my partner got me a scuba diving training to get uncomfortable and get down there. So I did, and it's a whole new world. Like you said, it's
Oh,
such a scary because you don't know what's under there. There's so many species that you don't know.
yeah.
But it's actually so peaceful. It's so peaceful.
Wow.
Yeah. So I love the ocean now. I'm still scared
You
every time, but I love the ocean.
after part time?
Scuba dive 4 times. Every time I still panic, but I still love it.
Oh my God, I think that would be me. Would you rather be too busy or too bored?
I'd rather be too busy.
Would you rather win the lottery or live twice as long?
Ooh, live twice as long.
I knew it. Would
Yep.
you rather talk to animals or speak every language?
Ooh, oh, that's a good one. You know what? I love animals. I would love to talk to them.
Me too.
Yeah.
But overall, that's it. That's the end of our episode. Thank you so much for being with me in this video, doing this with me in this podcast, because I'm pretty sure if not 10 people, at least one or two people are going to see value, and at least two people can take away something that is going to make a change in their life or in their purpose or in their future. Other than that, I'm going to leave you with saying your last word or your last message that you would want to leave everybody with.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. And I love the purpose of doing these conversations and talking about my journey. It really opens my mind more of like it reshares a past of like all the stuff that I struggle with and also like overcome, right? So I love
A
to
good
share that.
reminder.
Yeah, it's a great reminder of how far you've come. And for those who are hearing this, like I want you to really, really enjoy whatever you're doing right now. And if there's a change that you want to be done, you are in control of it. You can control it. So for those who want to take risks at certain things and been thinking about it for a very long time, think about what's the worst case that can happen. Because in the end, it might not be that worst case anymore when you start really thinking about it, right? So definitely go out
Absolutely.
there, go explore, go do the things that you want to do, go travel the world, go do anything that you wish you could have done because you can do it. So go ahead, don't let anything stop you. That's what I'm
Go do
really.
some crazy stuff too, right?
Yes, exactly. Go
Love
do it.
that. Love that message, especially because it resonates a lot with me and my channel as well, because this channel is about helping women becoming the director of their own lives and taking control
Yes.
back. Not be a victim to your life, but be a creator of your life, right? I mean, it was nice being with everyone. Until the next episode and until the next video, I wish you guys an amazing day. Love you all. Bye-bye. I could take you up and tell me I'm the only one that you love.